Good morning from Mission Control in Houston and the International Space Station Flight Control Room as 3 crew members aboard the Soyuz MS-25 are in the home stretch of a 2-day journey to reach their destination, the International Space Station. Welcome to our coverage of the rendezvous and docking of Soyuz MS-25 to the International Outpost, a journey that began with a launch from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan 2 days ago. Here in Mission Control in Houston, the Orbit 2 team of flight controllers on console at this hour, led by Flight Director Diane Daly. She is joined on console at this hour by spacecraft communicator Costa Mavridis, who's talking to the Expedition 70 crew aboard the International Space Station. To his right is Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency astronaut Aki Hoshide, who is a Soyuz veteran, there to lend a second set of eyes and ears on Soyuz operations in the final phase of today's rendezvous that will bring to the International Space Station the Soyuz crew, led by NASA's Tracy Dyson, along with Soyuz Commander Oleg Novitsky and Belarus spaceflight participant Marina Vasilevskaya. The journey of Dyson, Novitsky, and Vasilevskaya began on Saturday from the Baikonur Cosmodrome, 2 days behind schedule, after an initial launch attempt on Thursday resulted in a last-second launch abort because of a low voltage reading in the first stage electrical system of the Soyuz 2.1A booster. Batteries in the first stage were replaced, and on Saturday the journey did begin on time at 7:36 a.m. Central Time, 5:36 p.m. Baikonur time, with a flawless liftoff from Pad 6 at Site 31 at the Cosmodrome. The Soyuz booster arced out over the northeast to an orbit inclined 51.6 degrees to either side of the equator. 8 minutes and 46 seconds after launch, the Soyuz spacecraft itself, with the crew on board, separated from the third or upper stage of the Soyuz booster, and the chase began to reach the International Space Station. The orbital mechanics of the positioning of the International Space Station on Saturday relative to the Soyuz launch resulted in a 2-day rendezvous rather than the most recent type of rendezvous that the Russians prefer, that being a 2-orbit rendezvous. But in the 2 days that have following this launch from Baikonur, all of the rendezvous burns to have the Soyuz match the altitude of the International Space Station, and then this morning close in to the vicinity of the space station itself. All of those burns did perform perfectly, and at this hour the Soyuz is about 10 kilometers away from the station, closing at a rate of about 12 meters per second, right on course and right on time for a docking that is scheduled just 51 minutes from now at 10:09 a.m. Central Time, 11:09 a.m. Eastern Time. Today's operations are being overseen by Russian flight controllers at the Russian Mission Control Center outside of Moscow in the town of Korolyov. You're looking at a view from the balcony in the cavernous International Space Station Flight Control Room in Korolyov. They are in charge of all of the Soyuz operations and the communications with the crew on board the Soyuz from now through docking, that again is scheduled about 50 minutes from now. About 15 minutes from now, Flight Director Diane Daly here in the Mission Control Room in Houston will go around the room and take a poll of her flight controllers to get a go, no-go for docking. 10 minutes later, the fly-around of the Soyuz in the vicinity of the International Space Station will begin. This will be about a 51-degree fly-around of the International Outpost to precisely align the Soyuz and its forward docking probe with the Prishal node module. That is the port of call today for Soyuz and its 3 occupants. The Prishal module is on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. Once contact and capture begins, The docking probe will be retracted to form a flush surface between the Soyuz and the Prishal module docking port. A period of relative motion will dampen out between the two vehicles before hooks are closed on both sides of the docking interface, first the Soyuz, then the Prishal hooks, to form a hard mate between the two vehicles. A series of leak checks will ensue on both sides of the docking interface, with hatches scheduled to open at around 12:40 p.m. Central Time this afternoon, 1:40 p.m. Eastern Time. That will allow Dyson, Novitsky, and Vasilevskaya to float aboard the International Space Station, and for Dyson to begin a 6-month mission on the orbital outpost. Once the hatches are open this afternoon, there'll be a brief opportunity for some welcoming remarks by the crew as they talk to dignitaries who will be gathered in the balcony at the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov. There'll also be words from spacecraft communicator Kosta Mavridis here in Mission Control up to Tracy Dyson. The Expedition 70 crew, as you see from left to right, includes...
We hardly copy you, Moscow.
Дальность 9,5, скорость минус 13,4.
And the Expedition 70 crew, which will transition to Expedition 71 in about 12 days, includes Alexander Grabenkin of Roscosmos, Tracy Dyson, Mike Barrett, Nikolai Chub, Matt Dominic. The station commander is Oleg Kononenko, and NASA astronaut Jeanette Epps. Laurel O'Hara, who is not pictured here with the Expedition 71 crew, is because she will be departing on April 6th with Oleg Novitsky and Marina Vasilevskaya. Novitsky and Vasilevskaya basically are a taxi crew. Vasilevskaya is flying under an intergovernmental agreement between Roscosmos and Belarus to conduct experiments on behalf of Belarus researchers. On April 6th, they will depart in the Soyuz MS-25 spacecraft that is attached to the Rosviet module on the space-facing side, also on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. O'Hara will be departing on April 6th with them, and they will be heading for a parachute-assisted landing on the steppe of Kazakhstan on April 6th. For O'Hara, it will be the completion of a 204-day mission aboard the International Space Station. Novitsky and Vasilevskaya will have spent 12 days in space. Novitsky began the mission to the International Space Station on Saturday, on this his 4th flight into space, already having accrued 531 days in space, which is now 533 days of an aggregate total. We're about 21 minutes away from the fly around by the Soyuz of the International Space Station. Again, this will be about a 51-degree fly around to precisely align the Soyuz with the docking port on the Prishal module, the node module that is attached to the multi-purpose laboratory module on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station.
Угу.
Station Moscow,
We
official
have
on
the
1
close
for Nikolai regarding
transmitter
the
now.
recording activation.
This is the view of the control panel in the Soyuz MS-25 spacecraft, a brief view of some of the telemetry that Novitsky, Dyson, and Vasilevskaya are looking at in the descent module of the three-section Soyuz spacecraft. Novitsky is Soyuz commander, flying under the call sign of Kazbeki, which is named after a mountain range in Russia. He is in the center seat of the descent module, flanked to his right by Dyson and to his left by Vasilevskaya.
Range is now 7 kilometers. Range
Soyuz is 7 kilometers away from the International Space Station, closing in perfect fashion right now for what is expected to be an on-time docking about 43 minutes from now.
Recording function.
A short time ago, the Corps' automated rendezvous system on both the Soyuz, which is the active system, and on the Zvezda service module, which is the passive system. This is the automated rendezvous system, basically radio beacon capability that bounces signals back and forth to update the Soyuz computers with the best navigational data that is available on the range of the Soyuz to its destination on the Prishal module and the rate of closure. All of those tests went by the books. The Corps' automated system is what will guide the Soyuz for an automated docking to the Prishal module. If in the unlikely event there's a problem with Corps, it will fault over to Novitsky, who will fly the Soyuz in manually for a docking. But so far, the Corps is hanging in good shape, as it usually does, with no issues being reported. All of the other Soyuz systems are in perfect shape.
Дальность 6 километров, скорость минус 9.
Moscow ISS, the recording is on. Copy, thank you.
range is 6 kilometers. Range rate -9.
You are continuing to hear the updates from the interpreter who is speaking, listening to the Russian flight controllers in Korolyov, updating Novitsky and his crewmates on their distance from the International Space Station and rate of closure, as they are now within 9 kilometers of the Prishal module for a link-up that is scheduled for 10:09 a.m. Central Time, 11:09 a.m. Eastern Time. Once again, after the docking is completed and we have a hard mate, the crews on both sides of the docking interface will conduct leak checks before the small passageway or vestibule between Soyuz and Prishal is pressurized. That will be the precursor to the opening of the hatches between the two vehicles, allowing Dyson, Novitsky, and Vasilevskaya to float aboard the International Space Station. Dyson will remain on board the station until September, when she returns home on Soyuz MS-25 with Oleg Kononenko and Nikolai Chub, who will be wrapping up a year-long mission on the orbital complex.
Station Moscow Space to Ground 1
minus
for Oleg
8 and
for RS
7 is rate and range is 800 copy.
Ожидаем данные 2,5 километра.
Go ahead.
Standing by for the parameters from the distance of
Alex.
2.5 kilometers. Copy.
Command radio link is active. Please perform step 2.2 in message 306. Copy.
Again, this view of some of the telemetry on the onboard displays on the Soyuz MS-25.
-8.7.
The Soyuz closing at a rate of about 8.7 meters per second, right on the money.
Visual of the ISS.
And the Soyuz crew now reporting it can see the International Space Station out its windows.
Very poor comm. Standing by for the maneuver, and we didn't hear the end of the statement. Yes. Monitor the direction in which the station is. And yes, we're
Go
standing
ahead.
by for the burn.
Are you seeing the screen number 44?
4 kilometers range.
Yes, we're seeing the screen.
Range rate -8.
We are fine with it at this point, and hopefully you are fine with it too. Yes, I am fine. Just wanted to make sure it is okay for you. Yes, thank you.
The International Space Station and Soyuz currently flying 260 miles above the Earth, passing over Brazil just to the west of Sao Paulo, moving from southwest to northeast at an orbit inclined 51.6 degrees to either side of the equator. We're about 37 minutes away from the Soyuz docking to the Prishal module, which is on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station.
Дальность 3,6.
3.6 range. Range rate -8.6.
And this view at the very right-hand side of your screen shows the multi-hatched bulbous Prishal node module. That is the port of call for the Soyuz MS-25. That's the docking port to which the Soyuz will link up to about 36.5 minutes from now.
Range 3300. Range rate -8.5. Copy.
Дальность 3 километра. Скорость
3 kilometers, -8.4 is the rate.
3 kilometers now separating Soyuz from the station, closing at a rate of 8 meters per second. During the terminal phase of the approach for contact and capture, the rate of closure for the Soyuz spacecraft will slow to a very, very, very glacial 1/10 of a meter per second.
Station Houston, a Fisher on 1 for Jeanette and PWD. Hey Jeanette, just want to let you guys know PWD is going to be unavailable for about
Maneuver in progress.
15 minutes from now, so you guys want to pull up
Copy. We're monitoring.
PWD. I suggest you guys do it too. We will be taking it offline in 15 minutes from now, and it will be down for 2 hours. Sorry, correction, 15 minutes, my mistake.
This is Mission Control Houston. You're continuing to see views from external cameras on the International Space Station. And there's our first view of the Soyuz MS-25 as the station and the Soyuz pass off the north coast of South America, now about to fly over the South Atlantic, as we are about 34 minutes away from docking. So far, all of the rendezvous burns have been executed in perfect fashion, all of the Soyuz systems in good shape, everything on track for the arrival of Tracy Dyson, Oleg Novitsky, and Marina Vasilevskaya on time, following their 2-day journey off the launch pad at the Baikonur Cosmodrome.
Oleg, copy.
The Soyuz just completed what is called an impulse 4 burn using its main engine. About a 16-second firing, a fine tuning of the course correction, basically refining the Soyuz path to the station, this occurring at a range of about 2 kilometers.
The duration is 13 seconds, 1-3. Copy all, thank you.
Так, наблюдаю станцию ВСК.
I have visual of the station on OSK.
Если ВСК есть обобщенная ГСО.
Common GSO confirmed, OSK confirmed.
76.
Working for page 76.
1,8, скорость
Range
4,3.
1.8. Rate minus 4.3, negative 4.3. Continue monitoring the motion. Keep reporting.
Принял.
Copy.
Flying 260 miles over the South Atlantic, a good view of the Soyuz MS-25. About 7.5 minutes away from beginning its fly-around in the neighborhood of the International Space Station to align its forward docking probe with the Prishal node module on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the complex.
Negative 4.0.
Docking now scheduled about 31.5 minutes from now. The fly-around by the Soyuz will start at a range of about 400 meters, again about a 51-degree fly-around that will precisely align the forward docking probe with Prishal. That is the multi-hatched bulbous docking module that is mounted atop the Nyoka multi-purpose laboratory module.
Range 1280, range negative 4. Oleg, please send the command inaudible. I couldn't copy you. I need to zoom in. Yes, please zoom in. Send the command.
Выполнил.
It's done. Excellent. We can see you again.
Дальность 1050, скорость
Range 1,500. Range rate negative 4.6.
1,500 meters now separating Soyuz from the station, closing at a rate of 4 meters per second. Again, that rate will slow down as planned to enable not only the fly around, but a very, very brief period of station keeping, allowing the Russian flight controllers in Korolyov to assess the alignment of the forward docking probe with Prishal before the final command is issued for terminal approach and contact and capture.
Продолжается работа ДПО.
Depot is still firing.
Дальность 900.
Range 940. Range rate negative 2.5.
941 meters now separating the two craft, closing at a rate of just under 4 meters per second. Once again, the population of the space station will increase from 7 to 10 with the arrival today of Dyson, Novitsky, and Vasilevskaya for the next 12 days until Novitsky and Vasilevskaya depart in Soyuz MS-25 on April 6th with NASA astronaut Laurel O'Hara headed for a parachute-assisted landing on the steppe of Kazakhstan.
Would you like to see ECG mode? Yes. Send the command just one time. Copy.
Soyuz and the station approaching the west coast of Africa.
Send Romeo 5 command once. And you can rotate again. 700 meters, range rate -2.4, and close it.
About 3.5 minutes away from the start of the fly around by the Soyuz.
Fired. Copy.
$7:42.12.
7:42.12. Depot off, however.
And the Impulse 6 burn, again a small firing by the Soyuz thrusters of about 12 seconds in duration. Impulse 6 again fine-tunes the Soyuz path to the station, a pre-planned burn. The International Space Station has maneuvered into the docking orientation. All systems are in great shape to receive the Soyuz MS-25. That should have been the final mid-course correction burn.
Range rate -1.6 and closing.
1.5 meters per second is the closure rate.
Дальность 500. Скорость -1.
500 meters, range rate -1.6.
Дальность 460.
Range 460. Range rate -1.5 and closing.
Дальность 420.
420 meter, the range rate -1.4 closing. Copy.
And this view from the external cross-haired engineering camera on the Soyuz MS-25, a great view of the International Space Station. The Soyuz now has begun its fly around of the station You can see in the lower left-hand corner, the two values at the very bottom are the distance, 375, 374 meters, separating Soyuz from the station, and the closure rate of 1.1 meters per second.
Дальность 360.
360 meters. Negative 0.9 is the range rate. Copy.
Soyuz and its three passengers, Oleg Novitsky, the Soyuz commander, NASA's Tracy Dyson, and Belarus spaceflight participant Marina Vasilevskaya on course, on time, for an expected docking about 23.5 minutes from now. We've passed out of range between satellites on our tracking and data relay satellite system. We'll regain that downlink video capability a short time from now.
Дальность 300, скорость
300 meters.
And we're now back with our downlink television from the space station, looking square on to the Soyuz MS-25. The station and the Soyuz flying 260 statute miles over Morocco, just south of Casablanca.
Дальность
280 meters separating the two vehicles. The fly-around is continuing, closing at a rate of 0.6 of a meter per second.
Дальность 260.
Range 260, rate 0.5.
And back with a view of the Soyuz from external cameras on the International Space Station. The fly around of about 51 degrees underway. If required, there'll be a very brief period of station keeping where the Soyuz will halt its approach to the station, allowing a brief period of analysis by the Russian flight controllers in Korolyov before the command is given to press ahead for final approach, contact, and capture.
140, rate 0.35 and closing. Copy. Range 230, rate 0.24 and closing. Copy.
Station Houston on Space Ground 1 for shutters and PWD last call.
Так, курс перешел в причал. Олег, также
Курс
контролируйте загорание
причал.
транспаранта К-15.
Monitor parameters in advance.
Подтверждаю, курс перешел в причал.
Yes.
К-15 пока
Курс
не горит.
причал.
Дальность 217, скорость
Range
0,25
217. Range rate 0.17 and closing.
Soyuz right on the money during its fly around.
K-15 причал. Executed. Roll maneuver.
Олег, ожидаем за
Oleg, stand by for Zavcon.
Принял. Ожидаем завкон.
Copy. Standing by for Zavcon.
Aboard that vehicle you're looking at, the Soyuz MS-25, NASA's Tracy Dyson, Soyuz Commander Oleg Novitsky, and Marina Vasilevskaya, about 19 minutes away from reaching their destination following what so far has been a flawless 2-day journey since their launch from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan on Saturday.
Monitor Bruce and turn on Parus.
Вас понял.
Copy.
Так, есть завкон.
Zavcon confirmed.
Включаем подсветку ВСК.
Turning on the sky backlight. Copy.
And at a range of about 175 meters, the Soyuz now has begun a very, very brief period of station keeping.
Включаем фару.
Turning floodlight on.
Так, фара включена.
Floodlight is on. Copy. Oleg, and you can send reach out command, final approach command from the rendezvous screen. Copy. I'm setting up the screen.
And the command has been issued to initiate final approach. All of the Soyuz systems in excellent shape. This again is an automated approach. Soyuz being guided into the Prishal node module under the guidance of the Core's automated rendezvous system. Soyuz and the station flying over northern Italy, about to cross the Adriatic Sea.
Gathering screen is set. Can I send command from the rendezvous display? 175234. Pre-chow or final approach command is sent. Copy. Depot firing confirmed. Gaining. Copy. Monitor the final approach process.
Final approach underway. The Soyuz flying over the mountainous terrain of Croatia.
Copy. Range 170, range
170 meters separating from Soyuz from the Prishal node module. Everything in order. If we proceed as planned, currently on final approach, we should be docking a few minutes early.
Range 145, range rate 0.8. The docking port is in the center. Copy. All copy.
This view from the Soyuz now over Russian ground stations. From the external cross-haired engineering camera, the distance in the lower left-hand corner you see at about 125 meters, closing at a rate of about 0.6 of a meter per second. Looking down the barrel of the Prishal node module.
Target is in the center. Angular size matches the range. Range 100, range rate 0.53. The target is by 0.5 degrees to the right.
100 meters separating Soyuz from the station. Everything is nominal. Soyuz operating flawlessly. The station systems in good shape, ready to accept the arrival of the new crew.
0.4 and closing. The target is in the middle, in the center. Range 82, range rate 0.4. A target is practically in the center.
Course is operating perfectly. The docking target almost in the middle of those crosshairs. It will align so that the docking target just below the docking port itself should be in the center of those crosshairs. 70 meters now separating Soyuz and Prishal.
Range rate 0.35 and closing. Angular size matches the range. Range 61 meters. The range rate is negative 0.27. The target is inaudible.
If you're just joining us, you're looking at video from the Soyuz MS-25 as it is now on final approach for a docking to the Prishal node module on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. Just 50 meters separating Soyuz from Prishal, with NASA astronaut Tracy Dyson, Soyuz commander Oleg Novitsky of Roscosmos, and spaceflight participant Marina Vasilevskaya of Belarus just minutes away from arriving at the International Space Station.
The display is selected. All LEDs are illuminated. Getting ready for the station keeping command. Range. The target is in the center. Crosshairs aligned.
Range is 30. Target is in the center.
Less than 30 meters separating Soyuz from the station. The Soyuz with one final refinement of its alignment for the docking target that you see just below the crosshairs.
Range is now 20 meters. Target is in the center. Crosshairs are aligned.
Есть готов. База АЭР. База АЭР.
We have the AR parameter. Copy.
Less than 20 meters now separating the two vehicles.
16.
All of the systems in good shape.
Мишень ниже полградуса.
Target
Edging in at a rate of 1/10 of a meter per second.
half degree lower. Crosshairs are aligned.
Мишень правее полградуса, кресты собраны.
Target is to the right, half a degree, and the crosshairs are aligned.
Дальность 10 мишень.
Range is 10 meters. Crosshairs are aligned.
Less than 10 meters separating Soyuz from the station. Good range, good rate of closure. Standing by for contact and capture.
6 meters.
Кресты собраны, мишень в центре.
Target is in the center. Crosshairs are aligned.
Мишень практически в центре. Так, ожидаем касания.
Standing by for contact.
Касание, индикатор ЖДХ, соедин сцепка есть.
And we have contact and we have capture.
Capture confirmed.
Docking confirmed at 10:03 a.m. Central Time, 11:03 a.m. Eastern Time, as Soyuz and the International Space Station flew 260 miles over central Kazakhstan. The Monday morning commute of Tracy Dyson, Oleg Novitsky, and Marina Vasilevskaya successfully completed. And the docking probe on Soyuz has now begun to retract.
Отключаем фару С-18.
Deactivating the light.
Фара выключена.
Light is off, OFF, and closing the RPV-1 valve.
Вас понял.
Once again, Dyson, Novitsky, and Vasilevskaya have arrived at the International Space Station with a flawless docking at 10:03 a.m. Central Time, 11:03 a.m. Eastern Time.
18:04:15 запущен разовый контроль отсеков.
And at 18:04:15, we started the automatic monitoring of
в БО 801, в приборном отсеке 832.
And the pressure measurements, please report. Yes, in SR descent module, the pressure is 829. In orbital module, below the pressure is 801. And in the
post-contact systems checks being performed by Soyuz Commander Oleg Novitsky. As you see the view of the front screen in the International Space Station Flight Control Room at the Russian Mission Control Center outside of Moscow.
Разрешите отключить телевидение формата ТВС?
Do we have a go to deactivate the video mode after the test is complete? Yes, you have a go. And now you are working for page 81. Just a reminder. Yes, copy.
The docking probe has retracted, enabling the two docking interfaces between Soyuz and the station to be flush against one another. This will begin the initiation of the closing of the hooks. The hooks are now powered on, ready to clamp around one another. First, the Soyuz hooks will be closed, followed by the Prashal hooks to form a hard mate between the two vehicles.
Oleg, perform the mating and... you mean I do not have to stand by for the time that's in RODF? That is correct. And S13 command, you have to send it one more time after the indicator is illuminated. Yes, I sent the Sierra 13 command one time already, and now indicator is illuminated. Yes, and now
station, space to ground 1.
Send the command again, S13, Sierra 13.
And now word received that the Soyuz hooks have closed.
And now
electrical connections between Soyuz and the station have been completed.
And so on, the hooks opening. Yes, that is correct. The rest of commanding you can do exactly as per RODF. And you can give us the pressure readings again, please, every 5 minutes. Copy. No. 2 more seconds remaining.
Давление ВСА 824, в бытовом отсеке 801, в приборном 832.
The pressure in the descent module is 824, orbital module 801. In the instrumentation compartment, the pressure is 832. Copy.
The Prashal node module hooks now driving. They should be closed a moment or two from now.
And then 82. And next pressure measurement is in 10 minutes. Copy.
Moscow Station on Station Ground 1, how do you copy? Go ahead, have you loud and clear.
Inaudible.
Finally. Sergey, the hooks
Now
are driving.
the D13 command.
Copy, hooks driving. You're seeing this on the node module screen.
Latches extended.
Correct? Affirmative.
I have the indicator illuminated that latches are retracted.
And I see the indication of the hooks driving.
And
okay, copy.
D11,
please report when the
retracted.
hooks will be in the closed position per the indication. And what about operations per the
Yes, probe
RS1
retracted
radiogram?
indicator is illuminated. And SS pair indicator is
Oleg, you had a dropout.
Illuminated.
This is Nikolai. The question is about radiogram 9999. Do I have a go to perform closeout ops?
Transfer system indicator.
Affirmative. Copy and work. Sergey. The screen indication. Hooks are closed. Interface is closed. Transfer hatch cover closed. Copy. Thank you. So I am going
right
to
now you can fill out the log on both
got a message.
input
Attention.
panels.
A spacecraft has docked. Well, that's a good indication. Thank you.
This is Mission Control Houston, awaiting the final confirmation of the closure of the Prashal node module hooks. The Soyuz hooks already closed at the docking interface.
Олег, пока ожидаем АКГ 15 минут. Только после этого продолжим.
Oleg, we need to stand by now for 15 minutes.
Ожидаем АКГ 15 минут, верно?
Да, да, все верно. И потом работаем по...
You said stand by for 15 minutes. This is correct. Standing by for leak check.
This is Mission Control Houston. We now have confirmation that the Prashal node module hooks have closed, and so we have a hard mate between the newly arrived Soyuz MS-25 spacecraft and the Prashal node module of the International Space Station. Docking occurred at 10:03 a.m. Central Time, 11:03 a.m. Eastern Time, bringing to a flawless close the two-day journey of NASA's Tracy Dyson, Soyuz Commander Oleg Novitsky of Roscosmos, and spaceflight participant Marina Vasilevskaya of Belarus. They began their journey with their launch from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan on Saturday morning, a 34-orbit two-day journey that culminated with their link-up to the station following a perfect, flawless journey. All of the rendezvous burns were executed as planned. No issues on final approach. Again, docking occurring at 10:03 a.m. Central Time, 11:03 a.m. Eastern Time. With the hooks now having closed, the leak checks will commence on both sides of the docking interface by the Soyuz crew and the station crew before the hatches are scheduled to open around 2.5 hours from now. So with that, we'll wrap up our coverage for now and let you know that we'll be back on the air at 12:15 p.m. Central Time, 1:15 p.m. Eastern Time for an expected hatch opening at 1:40 p.m. Eastern Time that will bring temporarily for the next 12 days the station's population to 10 crew members on board. So following a uneventful and successful rendezvous and docking by Soyuz, Dyson, Novitsky, and Vasilevskaya have arrived at the International Space Station. We'll be back in just a couple of hours with hatch opening coverage here on NASA television. Until then, we'll sign off for now. This is Mission Control Houston.